Do you ever feel that sometimes the advice you get from your advisor is more around their product goals than your well being? It came up this week with one of my clients, and let me explain. He called up and said, "Hey, Sean, I'm trying to help my mother in law. She just recently became a widow, and we're trying to set her up for her new financial future." And when we went into the local office to change the accounts over into her name, the guy started bringing up annuities, direct indexing, and it really left a bad feeling with him of, wait a minute, this doesn't sound right. So he calls up and said, "Hey, Sean, what do you think?" And we go through this nice woman's portfolio. We go through her needs, her spending, all of the things that you would go through. And I say this respectfully, she had a really simple existence. Really low expenses, plenty of assets, was more focused on leaving a legacy than focused on maximizing her portfolio. It's all for her. It's all about, do I have enough? And I don't want to ever risk not having enough. So when we went through the calculation and looked at why this gentleman was proposing an annuity, I then looked at CDs and went, well, we can do a CD ladder that has a higher net rate of return. They're liquid in case her needs change. And there's no illiquidity. We can sell it at any time. Why would we give up liquidity for a lower yield? Again, is this his product pitch or was this best for her? When my client went and said, no, we don't want the annuity, then he came back with, well, what we should do is look at a direct indexing so that we can generate tax losses. We can, have a higher after-tax rate of return on an index fund. And again, he calls up and goes, "Sean, this doesn't sound right." And to his credit, he's right. It didn't sound right. For this client, she's in the 10% tax bracket. So taxation's really a low factor for her. More importantly, this money is designed to be a long-term legacy and an inheritance for her kids. Now, if you think about direct indexing, that's where you own hundreds of stocks that mirror an index, and then they churn the portfolio to generate tax losses. But at the end of the day, you still end up with 200, 250 different stocks. If you're trying to leave a legacy for your kids, what do you want to leave? Shares of an index fund, which are highly liquid and will get a step up in basis, or shares of 250 different companies. Yes, they get the step up in basis, but it's a mess. And how do you make sure each person gets an equal amount? It reeked of this gentleman saying, "I've got a product to pitch," and it rubbed us both wrong. So in the end, for this client, what we end up doing is doing a boring 10-year CD ladder, which covers all of her expenses for the next 10 years. We added some money to cash in case we underestimated. And then the rest of the portfolio, we put into a really boring, tax-efficient, risk-efficient index fund. Simple, right? But no, this guy had to lead with direct indexing after leading with an annuity. Just reeks of product pitch. And it, for me, drives me nuts that this is acceptable in our industry. If you feel the same way, let me know. Thanks.